Hello, everybody. How's everything going? I hope you all had a good weekend. It's Monday. Mondays are rough. But I was sitting outside on the weekend on the patio in the sun, relaxing. And something, I thought of something. And, while Mi5ch Marner was here, and let me tell you guys, this is the last time I'm going to talk about Mi5ch Marner. I'm totally over the guy, but I think this one last video needs to be made. While Mi5ch Marner was here, there was a lot of protecting him and his ego and his spot on the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? There was a lot of defending him. Well, he's so good defensively and he kills penalties and he's 200 foot and blah, 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 blah. I get it. But nobody ever got paid $12 million because they killed penalties. And nobody ever got paid $12 million because they played defense well, right? You have to produce offense. And there was a time where Matthews has always been the clear-cut number one guy in Toronto, and Mi5ch Marner was always the clear-cut number two, right? And even though John Tavares was scoring 30-something goals and was a point-a-game player, there was no real threat from John Tavares to supersede Mi5ch Marner and knock him off that number two in Toronto, that number two spot, right? And there was a little bit of ego to go with that, right? Marner loved being the guy, right? The guy that dished to Matthews, the guy who helped him get to 60 goals, all that stuff. Like being the clear-cut number two in Toronto was like a thing of pride for Mi5ch Marner. But over the last 3 seasons, things have changed. Things have shifted. And unfortunately, it needs to be said. And now that Mi5ch Marner's gone, we can all speak freely. We don't have to protect him anymore. We don't have to protect his feelings. Mi5ch Marner couldn't wait to get out of Toronto because he hated living in William Nylander's shadow. And I'll tell you why. Ever since Nylander became a 40-goal, and he's got 40 or more goals the last 3 seasons, and a point-a-game guy, people started looking at him differently. And then people started looking at Marner differently. And, playoff production aside, we won't talk about the playoff production just because we know Marner's production was never really there and Nylander was scoring goals in key situations. But just regular season stuff where really Mi5ch Marner hangs his hat and considers himself one of the best right wingers in the game. Things started almost evening up, right? There was a time, like I said, Mi5ch Marner was a clear number two. William Nylander started scoring 40 goals and was a point-a-game guy, and then things started shifting, right? Since 2021-2022, which was 4 seasons ago, Mi5ch Marner has 383 points with 118 goals. William Nylander has 159 goals and 349 points. Now, the point differential between the two is 34 points. So there's 34 points difference between Mi5ch Marner and William Nylander over the last 4 full seasons. But the goal differential is 41. So William Nylander has 41 more goals than Marner, but Marner only has 34 more points than Nylander over this time. So there was a shift. There was a shift in the market. Guys started loving Nylander more, especially coming off one of the most, I would say underrated contracts. William Nylander signed at 6.9 for 6 years, helped him look like a higher tier player than he was getting paid because of his stats. And then all of a sudden, no fuss, no muss. He says, I want to be in Toronto. I've never lived anywhere other than Toronto and Sweden. This is my home. I want to be here. No fuss, no muss. 8 years, 11 and a half. And that was the final nail in Mitch Marner's coffin, just because he took market value. He signed. He's going to be here. He's going to be here forever. He doesn't want to play anywhere else. He wants to help this team win. He said everything that Mitch Marner didn't say. And then negotiated properly in good faith and then got the contract done. Just like the way Matthews does, just like the way Tavares does. They all say the same thing. I don't want to play anywhere else. I only want to play here. Toronto is my second home. I want to be here. All the things Mitch Marner didn't say. I think Mitch Marner couldn't stand, ego-wise, living in William Nylander's shadow, considering he outproduces him in the playoffs. He's starting to catch up in the regular season stats. Mitch Marner couldn't handle not being number 2. And he fled. He fled to a place where the best winger on the team is Mark Stone. The best center on the team is Jack Eichel. Like he went to a place where he can possibly have more points than the number 1 center. And that's really what he's going for, right? He needs to go somewhere where he's kind of competitive. There's enough talent to get him assists and points, which it's not going to happen with Mitch Marner. He's not going to... He doesn't have a 60-goal scorer, a 40-goal scorer, 30-goal scorer, multiple 20-goal scorers. I mean, Vegas Golden Knights produce offense, but they produce offense in a completely different way. And it's really a team concept there than it is, just me doing my thing. So, or the superstar doing his thing, right? So it is what it is. It had to be said. Mitch Marner couldn't stand being in Nylander's shadow. Like I said, Nylander has 41 more goals and Marner only has 34 more points. If you have a guy in Mitch Marner who's averaging 90 points and 26 goals, and you have another guy who's averaging, 40 or more goals, and is still point a game, I mean, who are you going to pay, right? You're going to pay the guy who scores the goals. Because clearly Mitch Marner, 2 goals in the playoffs this year wasn't good enough. And he got booed off the ice, and he got booed out of Toronto. I'm done talking about Mitch Marner. This is it. You guys tell me what you think.